Welcome to Systex. In this tutorial, we'll set up Inter-VLAN routing using the router-on-a-stick method. We'll go step by step, covering creating the topology with 6 PCs across 3 VLANs, setting up a management PC for switch configuration, configuring a router with sub-interfaces to connect the VLANs, deploying a single DHCP server to dynamically assign IPs to clients. By the end of this video, you'll have a fully functional network where VLANs can communicate, and clients receive IP addresses automatically. Let's get started. As you can see, the topology has already been created. PC1 and PC2 belong to VLAN 10, connected to switch ports FA0/1 and FA0/2. PC3 and PC4 belong to VLAN 20, connected to switch ports FA0/3 and FA0/4. PC5 and PC6 belong to VLAN 30, connected to switch ports FA0/5 and FA0/6. PC0 is the management station, connected to the switch via a console cable. Server, the DHCP server, is connected to switch gig 0/2 port in trunk mode. The router's gig 0/0 port is connected to the switch's gig 0/1 port in trunk mode. Let's start by creating VLANs on the switch. Step 1. Access the switch CLI. Enter privileged exec mode by typing enable. Now enter global configuration mode. Configure terminal. Step 2. Create VLANs. Create VLAN 10, VLAN 20, and VLAN 30. VLAN 10. Name students. Exit. VLAN 20. Name faculty. Exit. VLAN 30. Name IT. Exit. Step 3. Assign VLANs to switch ports. Assign VLAN 10 to interface range Fast Ethernet 0/1 and Fast Ethernet 0/2. Interface range Fast Ethernet 0/1-2. Switch port mode access. Switch port access VLAN 10. Exit. Assign VLAN 20 to interface Fast Ethernet 0/3 and Fast Ethernet 0/4. Interface range Fast Ethernet 0/3-4. Switch port mode access. Switch port access VLAN 20. Exit. Assign VLAN 30 to interface Fast Ethernet 0/5 and Fast Ethernet 0/6. Interface range Fast Ethernet 0/5-6. Switch port mode access. Switch port access VLAN 30. Exit. Before proceeding further, verify the VLANs and their assigned interfaces. Do show VLAN brief. Now, we need to configure the trunk port to carry multiple VLANs. Step 4. Configure the trunk port. We shall use the switch port Gigabit Ethernet 0/1 as the trunk. Enter. Interface Gigabit Ethernet 0/1. Switch port mode trunk. Switch port trunk allowed VLAN 10, 20, 30. Exit. Configure the switch port Gigabit Ethernet 0/2 as trunk. Interface Gigabit Ethernet 0/2. Switch port mode trunk. Switch port trunk allowed VLAN 10, 20, 30. Switch port trunk native VLAN 10. Exit. Now, let's configure Inter-VLAN routing on the router. Connect to the router via console, use the management PC. Open the terminal and access the router console. Enter privileged exec mode. Enable. Enter global configuration mode. Configure terminal. Create subinterfaces for VLANs on Gigabit Ethernet 0/0. Interface Gigabit Ethernet 0/0.10. Encapsulation.1Q10. IP address 192.168.10.1255.255.255.0. IP helper address 192.168.10.2. Exit. Interface Gigabit Ethernet 0/0.20. Encapsulation.1Q20. IP address 192.168.20.1255.255.255.0. IP helper address 192.168.10.2. Exit. Interface Gigabit Ethernet 0/0.30. Encapsulation.1Q30. IP address 192.168.30.1255.255.255.0. IP helper address 192.168.10.2. Exit. Enable the physical interface. Interface Gigabit Ethernet 0/0. No shutdown. Exit. Verify the configuration. Show IP interface brief. Show running config. For now, the connectivity test is skipped as there is no DHCP server available. Inter-VLAN routing configuration is now complete. Now, let's configure the DHCP server to provide dynamic IP addresses. Step 5. Configure the DHCP server. Assign a static IP address to the DHCP server. IP address 192.168.10.2. Subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Default gateway 192.168.10.1. Leave the DNS configurations for the next lab. Now, open the services DHCP. Modify the server pool to match the VLAN 10 requirements. Default gateway 192.168.10.1. DNS server 0.0.0.0. Start IP address 192.168.10.11. Subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Maximum number of users 5. Exit. Click Add to save the pool. Now add the VLAN 20 pool. Default gateway 192.168.20.1. DNS server 0.0.0.0. Start IP address 192.168.20.11. Subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Maximum number of users 5. Exit. Click Add to save the pool. Create new pool for VLAN 30. Default gateway 192.168.30.1. DNS server 0.0.0.0. Start IP address 192.168.30.11. Subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Maximum number of users 5. Exit. Click Add to save the pool. Step 6. Time to check if our DHCP server. Let's start with PC1, enable it to get an IP address automatically. Hold on, it's thinking, and boom. PC1 got its IP. Now, let's do the same for PC2. Next up, PC3, let's get it online. PC4, your turn. And now, PC5 joins the party. Finally, let's set up PC6 to grab an IP dynamically. Awesome! All PCs have their IPs assigned, job well done. Now, let's test the connectivity and see if everything works smoothly. Step 7, time to test connectivity. Ping between devices in different VLANs. For example, from a VLAN 10 PC. Ping 192.168.20.12. If the ping is successful, Inter-VLAN routing and DHCP configuration are working correctly. This concludes the tutorial. If you found this tutorial helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more networking tutorials. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next tutorial.